The season after the improbable year begins with spring training in a new home in Charlotte County, Florida, where a sea of blue has greeted the Rays at every home game. Last year, a dream turned reality. This year, a dream continued. Rays baseball coming up next. This afternoon, we greet you from Charlotte Sports Park in Port Charlotte, Florida, for Grapefruit League baseball as the defending American League champion Tampa Bay Rays play host to the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball as they continue their spring training schedule. I'm Dewayne Staats. Great to have you with us again this year, and I'm very pleased to have next to me Brian Anderson. Brian, we're going to see a lot more of you on the telecast this year.
Yes, you are. Getting to pull double duty again. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, this ball club, a sensational year last year, in many ways a storybook season for the Rays. They have come to camp determined, confident, and very businesslike.
Well, they got a taste of it last year. This is a team that exceeded expectations, went to the postseason, won the division, got a taste of that postseason baseball, and they come into camp this year with the attitude of unfinished business. They want to go back and do it right this time and win it.
The third man on our crew again this year, Todd Callis, truly a man of the people, and that's where we'll find him right now. Todd?
Dwayne, it seems like it's lunchtime right about now. I'll have my steak sandwich with mushrooms. I'm just kidding. Hey, look at the line. This is all these people getting ready for food before the ball game, and behind me, your favorite beverage, the Tiki Bar. We're out here beyond left center field. Best part about the Tiki Bar, you've got your favorite beverage. You can grab food right here. You can watch the game from the Tiki Bar, and of course, they have television screens. They can watch us. Or there's some NCAA basketball if they're, in between innings and want to check out what's going on in hoops. A lot going on this beautiful day here in Port Charlotte. Here's what's in store on our first telecast of 2009. We're going to discuss who's going to be the fifth starter for the Rays this season. It could be a very interesting battle down to the wire. And also, we will take you around the Charlotte Sports Park and show you all the refurbishments that they have made here in the last 24 months. And as well, we're going to talk to Joe Madden, the manager, and the Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations, Andrew Friedman. We are ready for baseball on this beautiful day in Port Charlotte. It has been paradise in spring training this 2009 spring. We'll be back with the Cardinals and the Rays right here on Sun Sports.
Welcome back to Port Charlotte, Florida. Charlotte Sports Park. Beautiful afternoon for baseball. Scattered white clouds about. The Rays taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. A quick look at Tony La Russa's starting lineup. Brendan Ryan will lead off at second. Rick Ankiel's in there, followed by Ryan Ludwig. Reese Molina Craig down the middle. Joe Mathers at left. Brian Barden at third. And Tyler Green will be the shortstop. Scott Kazmir on the hill for the Rays, making his third spring outing. He played starts against Minnesota and one against the Cincinnati Reds. Last year, 12-8, covering 27 starts and a 3.49 earned run average. First pitch of the afternoon, and it's taken down and away by Brendan Ryan, the second baseman. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike. The count is 1-1. Scott Kazmir last year, a little over 150 innings for the Rays. There's a chopper headed towards short, and a nice play by Brignac to his left. And the throw to first skips away from Richard over there. And Ryan quickly around second. He's going to go for third, and he is in there ahead of the throw. Some hustle by Ryan on the sharply hit ball to the left of Brignac.
Well, that's
Here's the ground ball here. Great play. Get it. The throw's a little bit short off of Chris Richard. And then I actually think it hit Brendan Ryan. Ball bounced up, went off of Ryan, kicked out into short right field. Richards got a long way to run, and Ryan had a full head of steam. He was able to turn two and get into third base.
Yeah, and Brian, he had the advantage of having that play right in front of him.
That's
after
right.
He kicked the ball into short right field. He turned on the afterburners and finds himself at third with nobody out. And just like that, Kazmir facing a scoring opportunity by St. Louis. Here's Rick Ankiel. Pitch covered up by Riggins. A ball and no strikes.
Good block there by Riggins. Pitchers love to know that with a runner on third base, they can still use all their pitches, and if they have to make a pitch, obviously that's not the situation you would want to throw a ball in the dirt, but you know that your catcher's going to be back there working for you.
Pitch is wide. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, it's a shame that play didn't work out better for Brignac, because he did a nice job of getting the ball ranging to his left. 2-1.
He's a good athlete. He's long-armed, long, lanky guy. Good lateral movement. Was able to get to that, like I said, get to that ball, and just threw the ball in the dirt. And then a situation where you can do everything right. Riggins can be down there backing it up, and the ball kicks out into right field.
That will square the count. 2-2. Brian, last year and really for the better part of his young career, pitch count has been the issue for Scott Kazmir, and he opens camp with an idea of trying to minimize his pitch count and pitch deeper into games.
Yeah, that was a problem for him last year, and you know, it seemed to be almost turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's something that was talked about in the media. It was brought up to him numerous times, and one of those things that it became a focus of his. He went out there, and instead of, and there he's just a little bit wide, ball 4 to Ankiel. Instead of just going out there and pitching, you know, he was worried about that pitch count and had that little clicker running in his mind while he's out there, and it was tough for him to ever get on track and be as effective as he can be.
Well, you're a former pitcher, and you spend a lot of time with these pitchers here, and your role with the club and assisting Jim Hickey. I guess it does get to a point where sometimes he makes more of an issue of it than it ordinarily should be.
Well, that's the problem with some athletes get in their own head and start to think a little bit too much.
Here's Ryan Ludwig showing some of his power with a drive deep to left. There's a prevailing wind out there, and that didn't need any help as Ludwig hits it out, and the Cardinals take a 3-0 lead.
Very inauspicious start here for Kaz.
Ludwig was a real find for the Cardinals and has realized his power potential in a St. Louis uniform, and it was on display with that shot to left.
Well, after the walk to Ankiel, looked like Kaz was coming in with the changeup there and just left it up and out over the plate, and Ludwig put a great swing on it, and with the wind blowing out to left, that was a no-doubter.
Fastball in to the designated hitter, David Reese. That pitch in off the plate. The one thing we've noticed about this beautiful new ballpark here is that there is a prevailing wind to left and back toward the left field corner.
It has been windy almost every day we've been down here since it started. About a month, and every day someone's remarking about the breeze, and you're right, it's always moving in the same direction.
A shot into left, and Ruggiano is there to take care of this line drive. That's the first out here in the first inning after the Cardinals have put up 3. Take a quick look at the Rays defense. Ruggiano, Zobrist, and Gross left to right in the outfield, and Goria Brignac on the left side of the infield. Kennedy and Richard right side at second and first, with Sean Riggins catching. Yadier Molina, and the pitch is down. A ball, no strikes. This is not the complete lineup the Rays will put out there day in and day out when the regular season begins, but the defense was such a big part of the Rays' success story last year.
But, you know, you can talk about the pitching all you want, and the pitching certainly was tremendous, but you got to be able to catch the ball too, and that's why you take that good pitching and put that together with airtight defense, and you know, that's one part of the equation of being able to go out and win ball games. If you get any kind of offensive output, you're going to be a very good team, and they showed that last year.
3-1. Well, I think it's especially true. I think you have to protect your pitching all the time, but it's especially true if you're trying to filter young pitching into the major leagues. And the Rays defense was so good last year. This one skips down the line past Longoria. Ruggiano to make the pickup, and he'll hold Molina to a single on a ball up that left field line.
Good job by Ruggiano to get down there and hold Molina at first base. That was a do or die type of play for Longo. Ground ball headed down the line, and he's kind of caught no man's land, tries the backhand on the run, just skips over his glove, but Ruggiano does a nice job of hustling down into the corner and keeping it to a single.
Here's Alan Craig playing first base. He lifts it toward the right field line. Gabe Gross will run out of room as it slices foul and out of play. Craig hit 22 home runs in the minor leagues last year. Played third base. Normally speaking, with Albert Pujols at first, there's not a big future for a young first baseman on the St. Louis club. 1-1 the count. Tony La Russa, like most managers, values versatility. So Craig is playing across the diamond today. Takes a strike. It's 1-2. Kazmir trying to work his way through the top of the first. The Cardinals have struck for 3. Have a man at first with 1 out. Ludwig hit the home run. He hit 37 home runs last year. Molina at first. The count remains 1-2.
You start to see a little bit of what plagued Kaz last year, which is the longer innings. The pitch count starts to go up. A lot of foul balls. Sitting at 23 pitches right now and counting. I'd like to get a double play ball right here.
Pretty close pitch right there, and Craig checks. That runs the count to 2-2.
Well, after coming with a couple of heaters, little backdoor slider there. And I think because with Riggins having to reach for it.
There's a chop down to third. Takes a big hop to the left of Longoria and through. Well, without that big hop, there was a chance to turn a double play, but when it took that last hop, it skipped right past Longoria into left for a base hit.
When it rains, it pours, and this is a good move here by Sean Riggins heading out to the mound and give Kaz a little bit of a breather here. This has been a not the way that you want to start a ball game. Tough play with the first hitter and then the walk and the home run, and things are starting to snowball. So this is a nice time to try to go out there, give Kaz a little bit of a breather, get him refocused. Not something you see very often is 2 ground balls getting by Longo. Bad hop or not.
So the Cardinals have another threat. Casimir at 25 pitches. Here's Joe Mather. Mather's played the outfield and third base. He comes out swinging, takes a big cut and fouls it away. Cardinals really feel they have an abundance of talent in the outfield. So there's some great competition in their camp in that department. Pitch popped up left side. Brignac makes the grab. So on the infield pop, 2 gone. And the number 8 hitter, the third baseman, Brian Barden, steps in. Down at second, Molina, Craig at first. 3 runs, 3 hits, an error, and a walk in the inning. It's inside. 1 ball, no strikes. One of the other tests in this kind of a situation, Brian, is to limit the damage.
Yes. Very important, you know, for a pitcher. You can't control everything, and sometimes there'll be some plays made behind you that, you know, that guys normally make and for some reason don't, and you're going to get into some troublesome situations. But yeah, you want to try to keep the crooked numbers off the scoreboard, and that's why, you know, you've got to be a self-coach out there, and it helps when your catcher comes out and tries to, you know, talk you down off the roof, but you've got to be able to do that yourself, and like you said, limit the damage and live to fight another day, because, you know, these are the type of games where, you know, you can hold them to 3 runs here in the first and then get on a nice roll, let the offense chip away. You can stay in this game and pick up a win.
And a bouncer down to Brignac. So the force play at second ends the first, but on one swing of the bat from Ryan Ludwig, the Cardinals scored 3. They have 3, and the Rays are coming in to hit. There's a view from the Tiki Bar looking back in toward the grandstand. We go to the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at Joe Maddon's lineup for the Rays. Justin Ruggiano leads it off, Adam Kennedy, and then Evan Longoria. Pat Burrell's in there as the DH. Gross, Stopers, Richard, Riggins, and Brignac to round out the lineup for the Rays. They'll be facing right-hander Joel Pinheiro. He has had a good spring. And the first pitch to Ruggiano is a strike.
See his numbers from last year. His first season as a Cardinal. 25 starts, 7-7 record. Spent some time on the DL.
Deep short. Green sets up and throws, and it's dug out at first base by Craig to retire Ruggiano. Cardinals traditionally have been a solid club in terms of defense and fundamentals. Their defense today, Mather and Keel and Ludwig in the outfield, Barton, Green left side of the infield, Ryan and Craig on the right side. Molina very good behind the plate, catching Pinheiro. And here's Adam Kennedy, former Cardinal in camp with the Rays. 1 ball, no strikes. This one down. Kennedy, something of a victim, interestingly enough, of the outfield surplus the Cardinals have, as Tony La Russa decided to move Skip Schumacher into play second base, a position that he really had never played. But they wanted to get all of the talented outfielders into the lineup in one way or another, and La Russa's answer to that was to make a second baseman out of Schumacher. And so Adam Kennedy found himself looking.
Tony La Russa, you know, has been known to think outside the box a little bit, and you have a glut of outfielders, and all of a sudden you find a guy like Adam Kennedy, a known product over at second base, that you know, found himself, you know, released and looking for work. So it was a nice pickup by Andrew, and obviously Joe Madden knows him very well, to bring him over here, and they've been testing his versatility, playing him over at third base as well as in the middle infield.
Speaking of Andrew Friedman, we'll have an opportunity to hear from him later this afternoon. We're looking at around the 6th inning. Two the count. One away. Kennedy the hitter, and Evan Longoria will be next. Pinheiro has not given up an earned run this spring in 10 innings of work. Just one unearned run surrendered all spring. Pinheiro throughout his career has alternately been effective and then has battled physical challenges. This one line foul. So Kennedy extends his at bat. This next pitch from Pinheiro will be the 10th of the at bat. So he's over 500 in his career. 72 and 67. And a base hit. There's a very good veteran at bat. Kennedy singles on the 10th pitch of the at bat.
Well, that's what you're going to get out of a guy like Adam Kennedy. He worked the count, saw a lot of pitches. Obviously, as a hitter, the more pitches you see up there in an at bat, you're going to get comfortable. And here on the 11th pitch, gets a curveball, was able to stay right on it, put a good swing on it, line it out into right field. Tremendous job, especially out of that number 2 hole.
Now Evan Longoria. 1 strike the count.
Evan trying to get a couple of those runs back right there.
And as we saw rather quickly last year, he has that capability. 27 home runs last year and 1 this spring. A 1-1 count. Rays come into this game with 10 spring wins. They're 10 and 7. And the Cardinals are 12 and 6. Chop left side. Green with a quick move to second on his toss, and over to first. Ryan turns the double play. 6-4-3 and out on the double play ball. We've gone through an inning this afternoon in Port Charlotte. 3-0 St. Louis. Rays baseball on Sun Sports, brought to you by Waste Management. For all your spring cleaning needs, visit Waste Management at dumpster.com today. For everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think Waste Management. We go to the 2nd inning. A beautiful bucolic setting here in Port Charlotte. Tyler Green will lead it off in the 2nd inning. The number 9 hitter, the shortstop for the Cardinals. Kazmir's pitch is a strike. Scott trying to get down to business after a 31 pitch first inning. Liner into left, and that's going to be in for a base hit.
It just doesn't look right now that Kaz has a good feel for his off-speed pitches. Able to get strike 1 there. Obviously, you can see Riggo wants the ball down, and Kaz just kind of slows up, leaves that ball up and out over the plate, where Tyler Green can get his hands extended.
Jim Hickey charting the pitches there from the dugout. Kazmir worked 4 innings his last time out and came away from that pretty satisfied. This one is too low to Ryan. A ball, no strikes.
You know, in Kaz's first outing this spring, he came out, first inning, a 6-pitch inning. And he came off the field. So, I mean, this look in his eye, like, I didn't know I was capable of that. Usually he's halfway through the first hitter. And, you know, he realized, I think, a little bit there started to click with him that, hey, I can go out there, pound the strike zone, get some cheap early outs, and allow myself to get deep into a ball game. This is one of those reminders that you don't want to have him have.
And I would imagine, Brian, it's difficult for a pitcher who's addressing this issue. Ground ball, a double play ball. Kennedy, Brignac, and back to Richard for the double play. 4-6-3. That will limit your pitch count right there.
Fastball away there. Right what he wants him to do. Pop it over to Kennedy, to Brignac. Great turn there for the double play. But, you know, and he could have had one in the first inning. You know, he has to remember that, you know, outside of a couple hanging off-speed pitches, you know, they've hit the ball on the ground, and he's had an opportunity to get some outs.
And Keel takes the first pitch strike. And that's the point I was going to ask you about. It's difficult for a pitcher who actually knows that if he pitches, you hear the term pitch to contact. If he does that, he's got a chance to have some low pitch count innings. And then when you run into an inning as he did in the first, it's a mental challenge then to convince yourself to continue to do that.
That's absolutely right, and that's why, you know, he needs to be, you know, that needs to be something that he buys into, that he convinces himself that I'm going to continue to go out and do this because I know it will work over the long run. That's where, you know, Jim Hickey comes in, Joe Madden, you know, even in my dual role myself, you know, just keep reiterating that to him. You know, and I think for Kaz it starts with, you know, he's got a good fastball that he's able to come in on righties with and limit the extension that they get. His slider should be a better pitch for him this year because the elbow feels so good.
And Keel goes down to get this one, and boy, does he get it. That is fair and out of here. A 1-2 pitch, and Ankiel hits his first home run of the spring to make it 4-0.
Well, hopefully it'll be a better pitch once the games start to count. Right here, another one. 1-2 breaking ball. Just never gets there. And a great swing there by Ankiel. You know, when those balls come out, you know, a hanging slider looks like a cement mixer. It stays up in the zone. There's no movement on it. And good hitters see it well.
Well, Ludwig hit one out his first time. 1 strike the count to him. So a couple of St. Louis home runs. And the Cardinals have a 4-run lead. Two strikes.
And that's been the problem today. It just doesn't look like Kaz is finishing his off-speed pitches, whether it be changeup or slider. Losing arm speed.
Ludwig with a big swing and a miss to retire the side. First strikeout for Kazmir. He's touched for a run on the home run. Bottom of the second coming, 4-0 St. Louis.
Beautiful Thursday in Port Charlotte. Cardinals leading 4-0. This is another area of the boardwalk right above the right field wall. Rick Ankiel's home run didn't come far from hitting us here. From here we can see Sugar Bear. How are you? Bobby Ramos, Scott Kersey, 2 of our favorite people right there. Good to see you guys. Back for another year. How's Port Charlotte? Everything good? Beautiful. As good a clubhouse guy as Sugar Bear is, Bobby Ramos, there's another great clubhouse guy that just joined the team here this year, guys, Pat Burrell. His numbers are phenomenal, what he can do as a right-handed bat, but what he can do in the clubhouse adds a little more to the team as well.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and his acclimation to this club after coming over from the Phillies was pretty quick.
Well, he's got the instant respect factor. You know, he's done it for numerous years, going out being a productive hitter. See here, starting back, you know, 1998, leaving college, first pick, 8 consecutive 20-plus home run seasons. That's pretty impressive. And obviously a world champion. So, you know, when you step into the clubhouse with those credentials.
He's called out on strikes. And I tell you, another guy who's happy he's here and he will help him a lot is Evan Longoria.
Without a doubt, both, you know.
I think Pat is going to be, you know, huge for me as far as, you know, a power hitting right-hander in the lineup and somebody for me to talk to, you know, because guys are probably going to be approaching him like they would me, or, you know, vice versa. And so it'll give me a guy to talk to in the dugout as far as, you know, maybe he has a lot more at-bats against a guy than I do. I can, you know, talk to him about how this guy's, you know, approached him in the past and just try to gain some knowledge with that.
I think just his presence takes a little of the pressure off Evan Longoria to add another right-handed bat in that lineup with power. And I think especially true because Longoria is a young hitter. They sometimes attempt to take on more of the burden than they should, and I think Pat Burrell's presence is a very good move for that reason alone.
Well, you think last year Eric Hinsky spent a lot of time with Evan Longoria, and Evan spent a lot of time picking his brain, talking about hitting, things to look for, and here Hinsky was a left-handed bat, and so while he's able to offer a lot of insight to Evan and a lot of ideas, now with it coming from a guy who's, you know, just Evan said it best, you know, similar style of hitter, similar size. You know, that's just a great addition and great for Evan to feed off of that. Obviously something that he already recognizes.
Gabe Gross up there with a count full, 3-2.
And obviously it also helps bringing Pat Burrell into this lineup when last year the struggling against, you know, left-handed pitching.
So there's something Pinero has not done a lot of this spring, is give up walks, only the second of the spring. And it's a one-out pass drawn by Gabe Gross. Here's Ben Zobrist. Well, Ben's in center field today, and this spring, as he did last year, he's played all over the place. Pitch is down. Ben, when the Rays acquired him, he was in the minor leagues with the Houston organization as a shortstop. And he can play just about anywhere you'd ask him to play now. 1-1 the count. Well, the Rays, you mentioned Hinsky. He was such a great influence on this club last year. Cliff Floyd, a couple of key veterans have moved on, and the Rays have done a great job, I think, of adding some more veteran presence like Burrell and like Gabe Kapler. And on top of that, the point you mentioned, they beefed up the right side of the lineup.
Well, that was the left-handed pitching tended to give this team fits last year.
Into left, Mather on the move, and he can only get a glove on it. It's going to roll to the fence. Gross will be waved home by Foley. The throw headed to the plate is not in time. Into second, Zobrist, and the Rays are on the board. It's 4-1. No doubt from Tom Foley down there at third. He was waving Gross home.
So here's Zobrist, gets a pitch away from him, puts a real good swing on it, stays behind the swing, drives the ball the opposite way, just off the glove of Mather. And like you said, Tom Foley waving home Gross, trying to jumpstart this offense.
Here's Chris Richard. Pitch a little high. That's the first earned run this spring given up by Pinero as the Rays are on the board. A line drive double by Zobrist. A pretty good example of why he was so effective last year for the Rays offensively. He showed up last year just stronger than he'd ever been before. That was a point of emphasis for him coming into the season last year, and it paid off offensively. Sharply hit, and that one skips past Craig into right field. Zobrist heads to the plate, and the Rays have their second run of the inning, second run of the afternoon. It's 4-2.
Sharply hit ball there by Chris Richard, and today is not a good day to be an infielder. Bad hops.
Yeah, well, first base turned into the hot corner on that one, hit by Richard, and it skipped by Craig. Here's Sean Riggins. So a walk, a double and a single, and the Rays are on the board with a pair. Cardinals scored 3 in the first, got another one in the second, and the Rays have 2 up here in the bottom of the second. Pitch drops low, 1-0. One ball, one strike. Look out, a broken bat and a ground ball to short, thrown into right field by Green. Richard will go to third, and into second base goes Riggins. And then throw from Green right over the head of Ryan. A broken bat, and the barrel end of that bat is headed to the left of the screen and back toward the stands.
Pitch gets in there on Riggo, shatters the bat. Tried to make an off-balance throw there, Tyler Green, and just launches it. Keeping with the theme of the day with the infielders.
So the Rays now have been at second and third. Fielder's choice and an error. And here's Reed Brignac. Lifts it into short left. Mather coming in. Green out. Mather makes the catch. And the runners will hold at second and third. A little popper into short left by Brignac.
Well, right there, Joel Pinheiro is able to take advantage of Reed Brignac. Obviously, with runners in scoring position, a younger player, he wants to drive him in. He takes a little bit off, throws a sinker out there, and Reed pulls off of it a little bit and pops it up into shallow left, and not able to get anything done.
Now the top of the order, Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano has 10 hits in the spring. Tied for the team lead in that department. He goes after the first pitch and lifts it foul up the right side, out of play. Strike one. Pitchers know with men in scoring position, hitters, particularly inexperienced hitters, can get a little jumpy at the plate.
That's exactly what happened right there. You know, that was a pitch that if Reed stays on and drives it to left field, that's one thing. But you could tell with his swing that he was trying to, you know, to launch. Guessing first pitch fastball, he pulled right off of it. Just caught it off the end of the bat and didn't have anything behind it. Shallow left fielder, and Mather comes in and no chance to tag up.
A little chop to short. Green a bit more routine this time, and that retires the side. But the Rays get on the board. A couple of runs home in the second inning. We're through 2. It's a 4-2 ball game. New faces, scorecards needed.
Team store has all the latest Rays Starcast gear that you
Love conquers answers all, even with divided allegiances in baseball.
All right, come on.
We go to the third. Scott Kazmir, through a couple of innings, has made 44 pitches. Worked 4 innings his last time out. He'll face the middle of the St. Louis lineup here in the third. David Freese, the DH. Freese takes it in there for a strike. First pitch strike.
Pardon me?
0-2. So a couple of quick strikes. Molina will hit next, and then Craig. And a swing and a miss. 3 pitches. Strikeout number 2 for Kazmir.
Kaz not wasting any time, going 0-2 and then going right after him. Fastball away, blows it right by him. Made short work of David Freese in that at bat.
Here's Molina. He singled up the left field line his first time. Pitch is down, a ball and no strikes.
Well, they were hoping to get Kaz at least 5 innings today, and with his pitch count where it's at, that may be hard pressed to get there, but this is the time in camp that you start extending guys, getting them up in the 70, 75 pitch range. And he's closing in on 50, as you see there.
Two balls and a strike. The Rays figure, among others, to see the left-hander Brian Schaus. We're going to go from the 25-year-old lefty to the 40-year-old lefty at some point in this one, down around the feet, and
they're saying it got him.
It got him. So Molina nicked by that pitch.
First baseman, number 86, Alan Gray.
Kaz coming in here with a pitch. It was tough to see. Boy, it's tough to tell from that shot.
Now, they're better eyes than ours making that call. So Molina's at first. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have included you. I should speak for myself. One on, one out. Double play ball. Brignac, Kennedy 1, Richard 2, 6-4-3, and that takes care of St. Louis. So that double play quickens things up. We go to the bottom half of inning 3. The Rays trail St. Louis 4-2.
Bottom half of the third inning, fans enjoying the game from beyond the right field wall. You can see their vantage point from the boardwalk. Guys, this has been a phenomenal spring for the Rays, not only weather-wise, which has been just about perfect throughout the state, but the attendance here at Charlotte Sports Park has been phenomenal, as they're getting big crowds every game down here. So they knew the move south was going to probably be a success in drawing more fans, but I don't know if they think that they were going to get this many and this much attention down at Port Charlotte. Fans just love the Rays down here, guys.
And that boardwalk is packed every time the Rays play here. Adam Kennedy takes one too low. It's essentially a wooden concourse that surrounds the outfield, and what it gives the fans the capability of doing is just walking completely around the ballpark, which is just a great vantage point.
I think that's what separates this park from some of the others. You know, a lot of these spring training, they have the berms down the line, left field, right field, where people can sit in the grass, and that's something a lot of different parks have. But the walkway around the outside of the fence in the outfield, sitting right up at at the height where you can stand out there and have a nice vantage point to the game, I think that really sets this place apart.
The roller down to Craig. That'll be the first out. Well, I'll tell you, it's a tribute to great planting, because right in the middle of that walk is the tiki bar. So just in case you work up a little thirst during your stroll,
Can never go wrong with the tiki bar.
it's conveniently located. One away. That brings up Evan Longoria. One ball, no strikes. Toward the hole, it's short. Green from the glove flip to the bare hand, and he makes the play.
And not an easy play to make. Wow, Tyler Green going deep into the hole there. Right here is tough. He sets, the ball pops up. Now he's got no momentum behind the throw, throws all arm, and is still able to get it over there in time to get Evan. Great arm strength.
Here's Pat Burrell. After the first pitch and a big league pop foul straight back, that's going to carry out a play. Molina could never find that ball, and Pinheiro and Craig coming off the mound and from first base respectively, but it was well out of play. Cardinals scored 3 in the first, 2 of those earned, another run in the second. And the Rays came back with a couple in the second inning to cut the deficit to 2. Pat down the line with this one. A little carry, but it's going to be foul.
Just a little bit too far out in front there.
His power is spent, and he still had enough to almost get it out of here.
Big, strong man there. Just got out in front a little bit on a slider. And hooked foul.
One and 2. Interesting thing about Burrell at the end of the year, here's a guy you can pretty much factor 30 home runs and 90 RBIs, maybe more. The thing he does, he sees a lot of pitches. There's a base hit driven through the left side. He's on for the first time, 1 for 2. Listen to this contact.
Long arms, dropped the head and lined it into left field. Well, you know, getting back to what you were talking about, seeing a lot of pitches, you know, by virtue of his power, guys are already not, I don't want to say pitching around him, but you're going to be very careful with a guy like Pat Burrell because of the damage that he can do. You combine that with the fact that he's a patient hitter, and there you go. That's why he's going to see a lot of pitches and have a good read on what guys are trying to do.
A strike the count to Gabe Gross. Gabe Gross down to first with that one, and Craig makes the play unassisted. No runs with 1 hit and a man left. We're through 3. Headed into the 4th, we'll be hearing from Joe Madden. 4-2 St. Louis. Back at Port Charlotte, Dewayne Staats and Brian Anderson with you. Great to have you looking in. On to the top of the 4th, 4-2. The Cardinals lead the Rays, and standing by in the Rays dugout is Todd Callis along with Joe Madden. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. Quick word with Joe and Pat Burrell here. Now we got Joe. Joe, let's talk about first the spring. We were mentioning last half inning about the crowds here, kind of the vibe here. It's a whole different feel for you with all the minor leaguers. How's the spring been for you?
It's been great, just like you're seeing it today. This place has been filled up every game. Very enthusiastic. We played a game the other day in the 9th inning. The same crowd was here during the 9th inning. They never left. It's wonderful to have the minor league complex attached to ours. And if you can see on the other side of that building out there, the 5 fields back there, 5.5 fields with the batting tunnels. So now in the morning, if we need to get something done or interaction with the minor leagues, you just walk down the hall to get it done. It's beautiful.
What are you seeing today out of Scott Kazmir?
Well, little bad luck in the beginning. Had we made that first play of the game, I think that the entire situation would have been differently. I think fastball command still a little bit off. He's thrown some decent changes, but they've been up. He got the ball that Ludwig hit out was a high changeup. I've seen a couple sliders. Overall, again, not as sharp as he'd like to be overall with his command, but what he normally does is like right now, he's battling through it, he's settling down, and he gets you deeper into games. He's just got great life on his fastball, and again, as he keeps moving along, as he gets better command of his fastball, he's going to be pitching deeper into games for us.
That foul ball hitting in the dugout. Huge dugouts here. They're like mini condos as deep as they are.
It's very nice. Yes, you got the jacuzzi over in the corner there. Actually, there's a lap pool right behind. They're excellent.
Hey, what about, we know Kaz is pitching that first series up in Boston. What about the 5 spot? That's been bandied about, much talk about who might be the number 5 starter. How's that shaping up?
Well, they're all still there. You still got Hammer still in the mix, Jeff Neiman still in the mix. We did David Price, of course. Adam's very good on pop-ups, always has been. And if Mitch, David Price, we sent Carlos Hernandez back out, and Mitch Talbot. So it's pretty much down to those 3 guys right now. They're all pitching well. They're all throwing the ball really good. Jason ran into some problems early in the game yesterday, but again, made the adjustment and figured it out. Jeff Neiman's been pretty much lights out, and David's been pretty good in regard to the development of his changeup. So we'll continue to ride that out, make up our mind probably within the next week.
Do you have a good problem on your hands if, you know, you're looking at 2 of those guys not being the 5th starter? You might have an extra guy in the bullpen. You've got a lot of candidates for your final bullpen spot.
Yeah, again, people have to understand when you leave spring training, you start with 25 guys, but it takes many more than that to win a championship, and we know that. So whomever does not start with us is going to get a lot of work and opportunities to pitch in the minor leagues, which is important in case of an injury, obviously. And then just furthermore, some guys just need a little bit more development, a little bit more mileage. And as we try to make that determination, part of our gig is we're always going to be patient. And I've been in development my entire career, or pretty much my entire career, and I think I have a pretty good grasp and understanding. I know sometimes people get impatient and they want to see things right away. But I kind of like a well-cooked meal as opposed to fast food.
and a lot of glass of vino to go with that, huh?
That's not a bad.
Hey, what about your closer? You feeling better about him than maybe you did a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, Percy's really come on, actually. I think a lot of it has to do with his conditioning. He's been on a really good conditioning program. And honestly, I know he pitched pretty well for us the beginning part of last year, but right now the way he's throwing the ball is as good as I've seen him do. There's PFP 101. Kaz just a little bit late breaking over there.
When you say PFP, pitcher's fielding
practice, we do that like ad nauseum, and we can't not make that play.
We're probably seeing a replay of it here, so why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, the way Kaz finishes sometimes, it takes him a long time to get off the mound and get over there, and he kind of like was trying to time it a bit, it looked like, as opposed to just getting to the bag. Regardless of all that, if he just catches the ball, he's still out. But it's, again, when you get lefties sometimes that finish hard to the third base side, they almost have to pirouette a spin to get back over to first base. I think through the corner of my eye, that's what I saw.
All right, and back to Percy. Sorry to break your thought there.
Percy, Percy's just in a lot better shape. I think right now, really the quality of his fastball, location-wise, has been very good. Threw a real good first pitch curveball yesterday. His cutter really moving from. You could even see it from over here on the bench. So right now, I think Percy's actually ahead of where we saw him last year at the same time.
Final spot here is Brendan Ryan bats with 2 outs and a runner on first, right field. How's that looking?
Oh, good. I mean, we have a lot of good candidates out there. Of course, when we have those lines tailored to keep the ball fair, too.
Yeah, they go fair for you?
Thank goodness it didn't. Well, he bunted it too hard. That's all. He hit it through the break.
So those are left to right lines?
Yeah, they're left to right break. You know, sometimes with the sun, it breaks against the grain of the dirt. But yeah, if he had bunted that softer, that would have stayed fair. Right field is coming along nicely. You know, you got the Gabes out there. Fernando being hurt obviously is a problem, but BJ's coming back. Ruggiano's done a nice job. So we have a ton of candidates yet, but I really like the way all these guys are playing. You're watching one of our sloppier games, quite frankly, this whole spring. We've been doing a really good job of catching the ball on defense. Pitchers throwing strikes, good at bats. It's been a really good spring from the perspective of execution. To this point today, be probably a little bit nervous that we're on TV.
Yeah, they weren't used to it in the World Series, right?
Yeah, this is starting to get to us a little bit.
And Matt Joyce, he got a little late start this spring. That couldn't help him.
Right, exactly. And Matt, just watching him today in batting practice on the other field, he's got really a real good handsy swing. He's got a real good end to the bat. In other words, the ball's going to jump off his bat when he starts playing for us. You're going to see him hit for really some severe power. I like everything that he's doing with the plate. We just got to get his leg well and get him back out there. He is a good outfielder, but we got to get him out there and see it. And of course, he's in the right field mix also.
You mentioned Upton earlier. You're going to hear the report, I guess, later on how he did today. But what's your best guess? Do you think opening day or probably not?
I'm not sure yet. I just heard from Hendu. Hendu went down there to watch him that he had 3 at-bats. I think he struck out his first at-bats, hit the ball through the middle the other 2 times. And according to Hendu, when he came back, he felt pretty good about himself. So it was all it was a good first day for him at the plate. I mean, right there, you look at it, we make a mistake on defense, 2 hits, even with 2 outs. A lot of times, you know, teams or even young teams take it for granted. There's 2 outs, the inning goes over. It's never over. You got to get 3, and they just showed us why. And that was the mantra of your team last year. No extra outs, and you saw what happened. Exactly. No extra outs, no extra bases. I mean, that's what we got to be all about. For us to get back to the World Series this year and win it, we got to catch the ball as well as we did last year, even somewhat better. We have to pitch on the same level and maybe a little bit better. Offensively, obviously, I think we're going to be better. But I'm really making a push for defense this year in execution. I've even challenged our position players to win Gold Gloves. I think it's within our reach. I don't think it's necessarily a pipe dream. I think our guys are that good defensively, and you look at the competition throughout baseball where it is today. I like that idea. I like our guys because one of the phrases I'm using on a daily basis is to control the controllables. And I think when it comes down to the most controllable aspect of the game of baseball would be your defense.
Joe, as always, thanks for the time. I know there's a lot of people watching for the first time this spring. They can't wait for the regular season to start.
Well, we can't wait to get back up there. We still have some games, so come on down and check it out. It's a great facility. The weather's always good. We've got a tiki bar in left center. You're going to have a good time.
All right, Joe, thanks. Dwayne, back to you.
All right, I'm glad that Joe gave the tiki bar a little pop again, because it is one of the great features of this beautiful ballpark. The pitch is down to Ludwig, and the count goes to 2-1. So the Cardinals, getting that 2-out opportunity, have cashed in for another run, and they have 2 men on with the power of Ludwig at the plate. He hits a high fly ball back into left. Ruziano over there with a lot of time, and he makes the catch just inside the line to retire the side. So the Cardinals score 1. That's another feature here for the kids at the ballpark. Bottom of the 4th coming, 5-2 St. Louis. Rays baseball on Sun Sports, brought to you by Tobacco Free Florida. Tobacco Free Florida wants you to be tobacco free. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com for more information. Kids clubhouse area, it's a new playground we saw a shot of down the right field side. Here's Zobrist up the middle, and Ryan knocks it down but has no play, and Ben Zobrist has his 2nd hit of the day. So the Rays put the leadoff hitter aboard in the home half of the 4th.
The first baseman, number 32, Richard.
Joel Pinheiro doing the pitching for St. Louis. Rays got to him for a couple runs in the 2nd. The first earned runs he's given up all spring. One ball, no strikes. Zobrist back in over there at first. Ben with a run scored and a run batted in. Richard drove in a run with a base hit. Shot through the right side past the first baseman his first time. Found himself pulling off this one, and the count is 1-1. No ball, 2 strikes. I thought some of the comments Brian Joe Madden made a lot of sense in terms of what the club has to do. You know, the East is going to be tough. Everybody knows the Yankees and the Red Sox try to retool and reload every year, and I think that that race is going to be great. Pinero's throw to first will get Richard, and so Madden is looking for improvement from this club in areas that were standout areas for them a year ago. He thinks they can be even better, particularly defensively.
Yeah, and I agree with him. You know, this team is no longer going to surprise anybody. No longer going to be under the radar. This team is going to have already has a huge target on its back, and you saw what the Yankees did this offseason. You know that Boston's always going to be there, and those two teams are, you know, privately.
Down to third, and Zobrist cut down trying to get in head first. He is caught trying to steal third base.
Trying to catch Pinero by surprise there. Moving lead, but a great throw by Molina is what he's known for. There he goes from the set position, but boy, he gets out of there quick, gets an easy pitch to handle. It's up in the zone.
Even if you catch the pitcher by surprise, Molina helps him out.
Well, you know, and that's a situation too where a lot of the good base running coaches will tell you that to steal third base, you have to have a moving lead. And you saw from that angle right there that Zobi tried to go flat-footed, and even though he got a good jump, it still wasn't enough. You combine that with the fact that the catcher's got a hose, a very good throwing arm, asking for trouble. But anyway, getting back to what what Joe is saying, you know, this team is just not going to surprise anybody anymore. And so you look at where can we improve? And Joe's smart enough to say, look, we were obviously a very good defensive team, but I think they're capable of more. And I think that you can go to each aspect of the team and say the same thing. You know, maybe outside of the bullpen, it's hard to expect more out of what the bullpen was able to do last year, but certainly offensively, they could be more consistent this year, and that's something they're striving for. And even the starters, as good as they were last year, nobody really had that type of a year that you said to yourself, wow, he pitched way out over his skis. Far exceeded expectations.
Riggins gets hold of this one and drives it into the gap in left center field. Sean headed for extra bases, and he'll move into second with a stand-up 2-base hit.
Nice to see Riggo back out on the field and healthy after last year towards the end of the season, missing a lot of time with a knee injury. The one thing that you know about Riggo is he is not going to get cheated at the plate. He takes a big swing, and when he connects, he can juice the ball. He did right there into the left center gap.
Well, if you look at his numbers, just the numbers from a year ago, in limited time, you know, he had 6 home runs his time because of injury, and then backing up Navarro had such a great year. Just a little over 40 games. He had 6 home runs. So there's some pop in that bat, and we saw some of it right there.
He's certainly, yeah, he's got some juice, that's for sure. Obviously, he's working on having a little bit more consistent approach, especially with 2 strikes. But, boy, it's tough when you're a backup catcher. And the guy in front of you is an all-star. Yep. You know that your playing time is going to be very limited, and it's tough for hitters to stay in any kind of a rhythm or groove when you're playing once a week, once every 10 days. Very difficult.
1-1 the count to Reed Brignac. Chops it towards second. Ryan will make the play. And the Rays come up with a couple hits, leave a man, do not score, and we're through 4 innings. On to the 5th, 5-2 St. Louis.
(5-2) as we head to the 5th inning. Scott Kazmir, today's starter, Ends up going 4 innings, 69 pitches. Kaz, what were you trying to work on today?
Just trying to get early on guys and just try to get them out. I mean, felt kind of tough out there. Felt like I was getting winded every single pitch. You know, been under the weather a couple days, so you know, it doesn't matter, just me going out there and getting my work in.
You have that same gastrointestinal virus that everybody else has. When did it hit you, and what did it feel like out there on the mound?
Pretty much yesterday morning. It just feels like every single pitch I throw, if I throw a fastball and I really try to let it go, I have to step back and kind of take a couple deep breaths to get my legs back under me. So it was tough out there, but I had to battle.
So you really, I mean, it was really like each pitch. That wasn't your normal rhythm today.
No, not at all. Actually, I wanted to get out there and kind of have a good pace out there, but I just couldn't. It felt like I had to take a step back quite a bit and regain my just focus and body, you know. So
was it mostly fastball changeup today? I don't know if I noticed many sliders.
There wasn't that many sliders. It felt like when I was throwing off speed, I was just lazy out there. It felt like my legs just wasn't under me, so I was just mainly working on keeping my fastball down and hitting my spots.
Before this illness, how's the spring been for you?
It's been great. It's been great. It really has. My arm feels really good. Feels like everything's coming along. Fastball, changeup, and slider feels really good. Feels like I have a good clue on what I want, what I'm doing with it with every pitch. So we're coming along.
And of course, as you're feeling not 100%, you have to cover first, and you get tumble over there. Are you okay from that tumble?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. It was just one of those days. You know something like that's going to happen. So I'm all right. But you know, hopefully I'll get over this right here and be fresh for my next start.
So with the illness, do you have to go run now, or your day's done?
I'm going to go on the bike. No outside running today. I'm just going to stick to the bike, and hopefully tomorrow I can get out there and start running.
All right, Kaz. Hope you feel better.
All right, thanks, bud.
All right, guys. Scott Kazmir, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Kazmir, 4 innings, 69 pitches, 46 strikes today, giving up 5 runs, 4 earned, a couple of home runs. And so that takes care of his 3rd outing of the spring. For the 2nd straight time, he works 4 innings, and as you heard, a bit under the weather making this start today. Gives way to Jason Isringhausen, the former Cardinal, 36 years old. He's facing David Freese, and he has gone to 3-2 with him. Molina next, and then Craig. Isringhausen could really make it interesting for the Rays with Troy Percival coming back, and Isringhausen in camp here, coming back from some work on his elbow. He gets the ground ball for the 1st out, short to first. Brignac handling that.
Look at Jason Isringhausen. This would be his 14th season coming in. He's played 13, 293 saves. When you get up into that range, you've done it obviously for a long time. You've done it very well in some tough situations. So, boy, he would be a guy that if you could add to that mix for the back end of the bullpen at some point, wow, nice option to have.
Here's Molina. The pitch is down. A ball, 1 ball, no strikes. You know, the interesting thing, he was part of that group of great young arms the Mets had.
Yeah.
Came up as a starter, made over 50 starts in the big leagues. A little close to Molina. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. And not unlike Troy Percival, in that, you know, Percy started as a catcher, and Isringhausen, before he got into pro baseball, pitched hardly at all. Brignac takes care of this ground ball. 2 up, 2 down, a couple of ground balls. And so Isringhausen, with all those saves that we saw, 293, and Percy with 352 career saves.
It's a whole lot of saves right there, closing out games, and that's a tough role to be in. You know, you see a lot of guys that are really good in the setup role, try to become a closer, can't get it done. You have to have a certain mindset, and you know, spending time with Jason this spring, you see the similarities between Percival and they really are big guys, have been overpowering for, you know, year after year for a long time, and want to be the guy that is out there shutting the game down. 1-0
the count to Alan Craig. Well, Isringhausen struggled with the Cardinals last year. He did have 12 saves, but finished with a .570 earned run average, and there was some concern that he might have some ligament damage in his elbow. It turned out to be a tendon issue, which was good news. If you can have good news and have those kinds of problems, but he did have it addressed, and it's a heck of a lot better, as you well know, Brian,
yes,
than the ligament issue. Something that you had experienced repeatedly.
Yeah, I was going to say time after time. The experience with the ligament and actually the flexor mass is what he had the problem with, but he got that fixed. And
there's Craig with a long fly ball straight away center. It's going to be over the head as Zobrist back to the fence there, and Craig has himself a 2-out double. So the Cardinals collect hit number 9.
The left fielder, number 7, Joe Mather.
Isringhausen worked an inning against Pittsburgh on the 15th. Picked up a strikeout, gave up a run. He'll face Joe Mather with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. It's a strike to Mather. One ball, one strike. Tell you what, he's made a couple pretty good pitches here to Mather.
now what do you look for? He goes first pitch curveball, fastball in, then a slider. If you're Mather, you've seen the whole repertoire here in the first 3 pitches.
Well, you take it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hope that it's a ball.
And he takes care of Mather. Well, he looked pretty good in that inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 5-2 St. Louis. 5-2 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here. The Cardinals jumped out in front. Rays with their 2 runs in the 2nd inning. Coming in ahead in the home half of the 5th. Hey, be a hero with a family with Rays season tickets this year. Gives you quality time with the kids, and it creates a lifetime of memories, and you can save up to 35%. Those are great benefits, and you get the best seats at Tropicana Field as well. Call 888-FAN-RAYS for your Rays season tickets. Be a hero to your family. There they are, frequenting the Tiki Hut out there. So the Rays down by 3. They're going to send Justin Ruggiano to the plate to lead it off against a new Cardinal pitcher. Ryan Franklin out there. He's a guy who has been in the closer mix this year for the Cardinals. Ruggiano taps it. That ball is going to stay fair, and he has himself a base hit.
And Joe Madden is smiling. Nice job by the groundskeepers.
Yeah, we heard Joe in his conversation with Todd talk about the tailoring of the baselines. So Ruggiano picks up an infield hit. Here's Adam Kennedy. Luciano back in. You know, it's very interesting. Here's Franklin. The Cardinals have some competition for a closer. Isringhausen was their closer, struggled last year, had the elbow issues. There goes the runner. Pitch is a strike, and the throw down is a strike as well. Luciano called out at second base with the shortstop taking the peg from Molina.
Well, here you go. Off and running. Another good pitch for Molina to handle, and the throw right down there on the bag. I think they should memo to the Rays dugout. Molina's got a good arm.
That's a strike to Kennedy. Puts him down in the count, 0-2. Pop third base side, but carries out a play. Franklin had 17 saves last year. You see down the line there of his numbers from a year ago, and that led the Cardinal staff. I mentioned because Isringhausen had that elbow problem, he was limited to just 12 saves last year, and Franklin was 17, led the Cardinal staff.
It's the first time that someone other than Jason Isringhausen led the Cardinals in saves since 2001.
1-2 the count. Kennedy fouls it off his foot. So the Cardinals starter Joel Pinheiro worked 4 innings. The Rays had 6 hits off him and a couple runs. Cardinals have led throughout the afternoon. 3 in the first, 1 in the second. Rays scored 2 in their second, and St. Louis added a run in the 4th inning. They've out-hit the Rays 9-7. Two balls, 2 strikes. Kennedy out on strikes, 2 gone.
The third baseman, number 3, Evan Longoria.
2 up, 2 down on the single caught stealing and the strikeout. Now Evan Longoria. Down and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Franklin has been around. He was originally in the Seattle organization and got to the big leagues for the first time with the Mariners. He's 36 years old. Spent a year with the Phillies and a stop in Cincinnati, last couple seasons with the Cardinals. 2-1. Liner into left center, and there's a base hit. Picked up by Mather. Longoria heads for 2, and the throw not going to be in time. Longoria in head first with a 2-base hit.
Great hustle by Evan there, right out of the box. Something that's stressed. Here he gets a pitch he can handle, gets right out of the box, and right there he's reading. He's like, I know I got a chance. If I bust it, I can get there, but I'm gonna have to go, and just beats him in with the slide. That, I'll tell you what, a play like that gets around the league. You really start to gain the reputation of a team that's gonna put pressure on the defense, and it forces those outfielders on just routine base hits to come up with the ball cleanly, because they know if they don't, you're gonna take an extra base on them, creates more scoring opportunities, and over the course of a long season, the runs will add up.
Then that hustle by Longoria, our spring cleaning moment from Waste Management. For all your spring cleaning needs, visit Waste Management at dumpster.com today. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think Waste Management. Want to know the count to Pat Burrell. Pat had a base hit his last time. 2-0. Foul back. This is the 5th outing of the spring for Franklin. He's one of those guys, as we mentioned, with the 17 saves last year. He can close, but he gives a pitcher and a pitching coach some options, because he's not just a one-inning pitcher. He was a starter for a long time, and you can extend him 2, maybe 3 innings if you need him.
How often do you see a guy that leads his team in saves and innings pitched? Yep. That's doesn't usually work out that way.
Long drive, high and deep to left, and gone. Home run for Pat Burrell. Pat's second home run of the spring. A 2-run shot, and the Rays are right back in this one, down 5-4. That is the kind of threat from the right side that Pat Burrell adds to this lineup.
Well, he had the count in his favor, and he gets a fastball that just doesn't get in enough. Short, compact swing right there, and do you think he knew that? That ball was powdered.
So the Rays make it a 1-run game. Here's Gabe Gross. Pitch comes in too high. One and one. So the Cardinals had hit a couple home runs today, and the Rays get their first one of the afternoon. A ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. This park with the outfield dimensions is a park that requires you to have some coverage in the outfield. 414 to center and 343 down the lines. Full count.
All you need to do is ask the pitchers how they feel after they run polls.
Yeah, they should have positioned a tiki hut on the warning track for that. It's going to be out of play, and so the count remains full. That's a place to be out there. A lot of socializing going on. In the absence of a tiki hut in the dugout, he pats after the cooler. Full count. Yeah, the addition of Burrell to this lineup is going to be so good for Longoria, as we touched on earlier in the afternoon. Gross having a battling at bat up there, extending the pitch count here in this at bat. Right side and a hop for Ryan at second. He makes the play, and the Rays are finished, but they add 2 on the 2-run home run by Pat Burrell. We are through 5. It's 5-4 St. Louis.
5-4 Cardinals as we play the 6th inning. Rays scoring 2 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Evan Longoria scoring in front of Pat Burrell, and Longo joins us here. First of all, we talked to Kaz a little while ago. He had the same stomach problem you had. Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. You know, I think it's just one of those things that's been going around, and you know, a couple days and we're getting over it.
Now, you're going to stay with the team as far as you know? What's going on with the World Baseball Classic?
As far as I know, I haven't gotten any phone calls or texts, and neither has Andrew or Joe. So as far as I know, I'm staying here.
And will you have to know by tonight, I guess, for this to happen?
I'm assuming. You know, I think their rosters have to be finalized either I would assume before they start playing. I mean, I don't think they can make changes after that. So I would assume by, if not late tonight, tomorrow, I would know.
The guy that drove you home, Pat Burrell, nice addition to have another righty stick in there. What's he mean to this team, not only on the field, but what he brings in the clubhouse?
He's just one of those guys that, you know, he's very, very relaxed in the clubhouse, knows how to keep the guys, you know, having fun, but it's still under control. You know, he's got that veteran presence, and, you know, he definitely goes about his work the right way. You know, he's in the weight room every day getting his stuff done, and, you know, he's just one of those guys that's good to have around.
Couple more weeks, you pretty much ready to go?
I think we're ready. You know, as soon as we get, you know, this last week or so, we'll get all the regulars in there every day, start getting a feel for how it is playing with each other, and I think we're ready to go.
All right, Longo, thanks.
All right, TK.
Evan Longoria, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much, and maybe our guest in the booth, Andrew Friedman, the executive VP of baseball operations for the Rays, can speak to some of those questions that you had for Evan Longoria. Andrew, great to have you with us, buddy, and spring has been very good.
Yeah, it's nice to be back with you guys and get going. I guess it signifies that we're pretty close to getting going. Being on TV, it's nice to be back.
Hey, how about Evan Longoria? Todd just talked to him, and in regard to the World Baseball Classic, he had not heard anything, and I'm assuming you have not heard anything.
I haven't. The only things I've gotten about it has been from the media. They seem to be following it very closely, but I haven't heard anything from USA Baseball.
Base hit by Barden to lead it off here in the 6th inning, and Tyler Green's the hitter against Brian Schaus, the lefty. He's the 40-year-old lefty we talked about earlier. You brought him in, Andrew. Give us a little rundown on the addition of Schaus.
Well, he brings a lot to our club, his ability to get left-handed hitters out. You know, he's had a tremendous amount of success the last couple of years. He keeps the ball on the ground. And last year he faced just over 100 left-handed hitters and walked 2 of them. One of them was intentionally, and it really plays to our strength with our defense, you know, especially infield defense, and his ability to keep the ball on the ground and not walk guys, I think, is going to complement our guys very well. You've
made a couple of additions, and they've been very interesting. And before we get into some of the position players, Schaus is one of them on the staff. Joe Nelson is another guy. Give us your thinking there.
Well, Joe's a guy that, before we signed Schaus, he's had a lot of success getting left-handed hitters out with that Vulcan change he's got. And so before we had gotten Schaus, we weren't sure whether we were going to be able to add a traditional lefty specialist. And so just looking to continue to diversify our bullpen and give us different looks. He fit in extremely well. Now that we have Schaus, it just makes us that much stronger. But we feel like both are going to fit in extremely well. And I think one of our biggest concerns going into the offseason was our bullpen. The volatility of bullpens year after year over year. We're not smart enough to know where it'll come from, but we just wanted to have as much depth as we could in the event that something did happen. Hopefully with us pushing back a lot of the pitchers into the middle of March, we'll be able to alleviate some of that. But the last thing we wanted was for something to happen and not be prepared.
Well, it appears that you are developing some depth there. I thought Isringhausen threw the ball pretty good in the inning we just saw.
Yeah, a lot of life on his fastball. Obviously, his curveball is his out pitch, but I thought he did a good job of trying to establish the fastball through some really good cutters as well. And so it was a very impressive performance.
2-2 here to Green as the lefty Schaus works his inning here in the 6th. It's a 5-4 ball game. And another little foul ball. Last year, Andrew, you put together a ball club that was really varied in terms of not only talent but the chemistry of the club. You brought in a couple of veterans, a couple of guys who are no longer here, and Harry Kinski and Cliff Floyd. But you went out and found a couple of other veterans that really addressed a couple problems. There's a shot down to third. Almedo at second turns the double play around the horn, 5-4-3. And it would appear to me that guys like Pat Burrell and Gabe Kapler will fill not only the role in the lineup but the role in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the case. And for us, we don't view things in a vacuum. We view it within the context of our entire roster, and we feel like both those guys, their skill sets are going to fit in very well on the field, and I think they're going to have just as much value off the field as well.
To the top of the order, Ryan, second baseman. He takes a strike. Brendan Ryan.
So you're trying to say that there's a method to your madness?
Well,
is that what I'm hearing?
After the fact. Once the dust settles, we get a sense of what it looks like, and then we can talk to it.
Well, there's a whole chaos computer program. That's one that we try to use here with our telecast, and it seems somehow to be working. We're still on. Well, it's a pretty good program, I'll tell you. If there is a method to that, you've done a great job, and obviously you've been recognized for that, and should be. It's one of the great stories not only of last year, but I think of baseball for a long time. This ball is headed back toward the corner, and Ruggiano will dig it out. Ryan with a big turn and decides to hang at second base, and he's on for the third time today, picking up his second hit.
When you sit, Andrew, when you sit back in the offseason, you watch the Yankees do what they do, and obviously Boston is a team that's going to be there making changes for them to make sure that the Rays don't finish ahead. Does that add any pressure to what you feel like you need to do, or is it just all kept in house? You look at your team and go from there.
Well, I tell you, it's a dangerous mindset to allow that to happen, and it's something that I think is human nature, and we try very hard not to let it affect our decision making. But again, it is human nature, and it's something that we have to fight very hard. We have a lot of respect for the Yankees and Red Sox in terms of how they run their operations and the size of their wallet. Obviously, it forces us to think differently and to do things differently than them. I think we're wired that way anyway, but even if we weren't, it's a survival mechanism. We have to do that to compete in this division, and as we've said for a long time now, our goal was not just to have a successful season. It was to be poised to have a run of success, to be able to sustain success year over year, and to do that in this division is obviously very challenging. but it's something that, as we all got to experience last year, it's incredibly rewarding as well.
I know you're a believer in pitching and defense, and with your defense doing everything you can to protect your pitching. And those two components were so important to the success of the Rays a year ago. And we heard Joe Madden a couple innings ago with Todd talking about as good as the defense was and as good as the pitching was. He said this team has to defend better and it has to pitch better even than it was a year ago.
Yeah, it's about accentuating our strengths. And, we had in the beginning part of spring training, in the beginning part of the winter, we had conversations about ways we were going to go about attacking things, and we wanted to strengthen our strength, and our strength, is on defense, as well as on the pitching side of things. And I tell you, just to see the disparity one year to the next, as bad as we were defensively in 07 and as good as we were in 08, it contributed significantly to the maturation of our young pitchers, and to us keeping runs off the board. And it's kind of the invisible hand in that it's hard to quantify. It's hard to put your finger on it and say it's responsible for 108 runs. You can't do that, but the trickle-down effect, as Brian can attest to, is immense. When you're able to, turn a double play as opposed to a ball getting through that doesn't show up as an error, but then you have first and third, and the impact on the bullpen, et cetera, it's never ending. And it's something that, for us getting a chance to watch our team in 07, it was pretty clear to us what we needed to do last winter.
Well, when you have young starters the way you do and work them into a competitive environment, I think you have to protect them by a good bullpen, and you have to protect them by good defense. And it really is amazing when you stop to think, when you look at these guys on the screen right now, Shields, 27 years old, is the old guy in that group. And I think you have to go back to the 1955 World Series when both the Dodgers and the Yankees had starters the same age, to find starters that young pitching in a World Series.
It's, in my opinion, the reason we were able to win the toughest division in baseball is, in my opinion, the reason that we were able to reach the World Series. And it's also the reason that I think we're pretty well set up to play competitive games in September. Playing in this division, starting out the beginning of the year, that's all you can really ask for. And we have high expectations of being able to do that again, and a lot of it stems from our starting pitching.
Freese up there now with runners at first and second. The Cardinals have added a run here in the inning. So again, it's a 2-run ball game, 6-4 St. Louis. Freese nothing of 3, and a base hit into center field. That will get another run home. So the Cardinals have once again a 3-run lead as Freese singles into center field.
Our left-hand specialist getting a lot of work against right-handed hitters.
It's going to bring up Molina, the catcher.
I gotta tell you, Dewayne, I'm a little uncomfortable. I've never heard BA this quiet for this long. I'm afraid of what is going on in his mind right now.
Well, Don Zimmer has been working with him to prepare him for this broadcast.
That and the memos that I continually get. I'm trying to. As Zim would like to say, just bring it back a little bit. Slow it down. Slow it down.
You're now a memo guy. I like it.
Strike the count to the Cardinal catcher.
I sent my first email last year, too.
That's impressive. Welcome to the 2000s.
Oh, 1 strike count. 2 men on with 2 men out. Couple of runs home.
I think Zim's probably sent more emails than you have.
And that's saying something right there. I'm telling you.
It's probably pretty close. I'll give you that.
Well, let's hope that you guys in your meetings for the rest of the spring really have a difficult time with some of these roster moves, because that would mean that there are 2 or 3 guys who are healthy and pitching well and testing you to make the right decision.
That's definitely the goal.
All right, Andrew, it's great to have you with us. Always great to talk with you, and we appreciate the visit.
Likewise. Thanks for having me, guys.
We're heading into the Rays half of the sixth, 7-4 St. Louis. The Cardinals lead this game as the Rays come in to hit in the bottom of the sixth inning. Catch every breathtaking play during sports' two biggest months. Over 100 live games. Drive to the playoffs and the dawn of a new season. All that you love about Florida sports, and it's live on Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida. Tune in to Sun Sports Sunday for the Rays 2009 season preview, followed by live coverage of their spring training Grapefruit League game against the New York Yankees. It begins Sunday at 12:30 on Sun Sports. Ben Zobrist will lead off against a new Cardinal pitcher. Tyler Norick takes over. 1 inning for Franklin. And the pitch is foul back, strike one.
Never a good sign when you do not have the name on the back of your jersey.
Or it could be just a great opportunity for a young man. Oh, 2 the count. Matt Pagnozzi has taken over behind the plate. So they have a new battery here in the sixth inning, and Kobe Rasmus, who came on to run in the top half of the sixth, stays on to play center field. One ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals about hit the Rays 12-9. They lead 7-4. The Rays mounted a comeback with a couple of runs in the second and 2 in the fifth, but they have been forced to play catch up so far all afternoon. 2-2 the count. Ben Zobrist has had a good day with 2 hits, including a double and a run batted in and a run scored. Rays scored a couple of runs off the starter Pinheiro and 2 off Franklin. And that hits Zobrist. So the Rays put the leadoff man on, hit by a pitch. Don't forget the excitement building for Rays Championship Week. Monday, the 13th of April through Sunday, the 19th. Opening day is already sold out at Tropicana Field. But don't miss, the Rays take on the Yankees April 14th and 15th. That will be a great series to start the home schedule. All fans receive an American League Championship replica ring April 14th and a championship cowbell presented by T.G. Lee Dairy on April 15th. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets. Ray Sadler hitting in the place now of Chris Richard. Takes one inside. So he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Two balls and a strike. 3-1. Zobrist with his lead. Sadler takes a cut at that 3-1 pitch up, and he fouls it back. So full count. There's ball 4. So batter hit by a pitch, followed by a walk, and the young lefty in a little bit of a spot. 2 men on with nobody out. And Pagnozzi, Matt Pagnozzi, goes to the mound. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, trudges that way as well.
That does not make a pitching coach very happy when you have, an inning starting out. You've just put a couple of runs on the board. You want to come in and obviously shut down the opposing offense. And, the reason that it's very frustrating for everybody, I think, is because this is self-inflicted. You hit a runner or hit a batter, and then you walk the next guy, and you put 2 guys on. They haven't even put the ball in play yet.
Catcher number 9, Sean Regan.
So the Rays have put a couple of men on base against the lefty. Sean Riggins steps in. Sean doubled his last time. He was 1 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and an error his first time. And he sends a fly ball into center. Rasmus is there waiting and makes the catch in routine fashion for the out. Cardinals think a lot of that young center fielder. As we mentioned earlier, they do have an abundance of talent in the outfield, and he's part of it. He had been slowed with a little tweak of his hamstring earlier in the spring, but they say he is 100% now.
With an abundance of hair.
Here's Reed Brignac. He breaks his bat, hits a fly ball into short center. Rasmus is there for that one. So 2 gone. 2 men on with 2 men out. Ruggiano's due, but he's going to be lifted. Elliott Johnson will hit in his place. So the Rays going to their bench a bit, as the Cardinals have with their bench and their traveling squad. Matt Pagnozzi doing the catching is the nephew of the former Cardinal catcher Tom Pagnozzi. Wave and a miss, strike 1.
You knew there had to be some link. What are the chances that another Pagnozzi behind the plate?
Strike the count. Nothing in 2. Elliott Johnson has shown that he can play multiple positions, and he's shown occasional pop in his bat. Fouls it back. I like the way he chokes up, Brian. There aren't many young hitters who do that.
No. There's not very many hitters, period, that do that anymore. That's old school baseball right there. 2 strikes. A lot of guys will take the approach where they want to shorten up and hit the ball to right, but he chokes up on the bat. Just look at put the ball in play.
Out on strikes this time to retire the side. The Rays leave a couple. We are through 6. It's a 7-4 ball game. The youngsters enjoying a great day at the ballpark here in Charlotte County. Cardinals got off to a quick start. Ryan Ludwig belted a 3-run homer in the first. Rick Ankiel added a home run in the second inning when they made it a 4-0 game. The Rays, however, Got a long ball in the 5th inning, a 2-run shot from Pat Burrell. They close the gap to 5-4. It's now 7-4 as we go to the 7th inning. John Jay is hitting for the Cardinals in this 3-run ball game. Fouls it back. Right now, let's check in with Todd Callis downstairs. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, we've got Sean Riggins. Riggo, 1 for 3 day. Looked like after a hit batter and a walk, you don't know much about that lefty out there on the mound, but you were looking fastball and got one?
Yeah, you know, it was a good pitch to hit. Give credit to the, to the pitcher. Popped it up, but, just got to move on. It's out here still getting work. You know, we have roughly 2 weeks, before the season starts, just trying to polish everything up and get ready for the season.
Got to ask you, you sound like you're not a normal voice. Are you sick too, like everyone else?
Yeah, no, definitely under the weather. Been under the weather now for about 2 weeks. Just can't seem really to fight it off yet. I'm feeling better some days and then taking a step back the next, but it's not going to keep me out of the lineup.
Is it the whole clubhouse? It seems like everyone's got something.
Yeah, it seems like everybody, whether it's now or earlier on in spring, so many, everybody's coming up with a little something, but usually this time of year allergies are bad and whatnot, so I guess we'll just chalk it up to that.
With Scott Kazmir out there today, you knew he wasn't 100% feeling well. You call a different game? Was it all fastballs and a couple changes?
No, he just, we talked about it before the game. I really wasn't feeling too good. I was just trying to get him through innings, and get outs. But, he still threw the ball well. The results sometimes don't really show how well a guy throws the ball, but, it's some days you have days like this sometimes, and Scotty, he'll bounce back. He'll be all right.
This team is every bit as loose in 09 as they were in 08. Tell us about last Sunday, American Idol, Rays style. What was your role, and tell us about how the day went?
Well, I actually played Seacrest. It was unbelievable. We had a guy from down in the minor leagues. I think his last name, if I pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry, is Vogt. Came up and did impersonations. He took the pot. It was unbelievable.
Who was Simon?
There was actually, our judges were Percy, BJ, Carl, and we had Carmen from the PR department. So it was a great experience, and I'm looking forward to it again next year.
So we had 4 judges. Carmen was Paul Abdul, and those other 3 guys rolled as the other judges?
Yeah, no, it was great. The guys who went up, they did a great job. It was sort of a spur-of-the-moment type thing. We loved it. We had Spring and Nowak. It was a close second-place finish. They did some Warren G regulators, came out with some great stuff. So it was entertaining, and I'm looking forward to it again next year.
I've heard that you were outstanding at Seacrest. Maybe a job in TV after baseball's over?
Hey, I hope so. Any way to put a couple dollars in my pocket.
All right, Riggy. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Sean Riggins, guys, back to you.
The Rays thought that they lost a lot of their talent. Remember they had Josh Paul, who played the guitar, and Baldelli with the bass guitar, and Edwin Jackson and Hinsky, and all those guys were great entertainers, but apparently they've come up with a whole new crop of entertainment. 3-1 to count to Barton. Derek Rodriguez is the new pitcher here. Fly ball headed toward the gap into left center field. Weber will chase it to the wall, just taking over in left field. And Barton has himself a double. Derek Rodriguez, the 4th pitcher of the game for the Rays. He's in camp as a Rule 5 pitcher, and Brian, he's opened some eyes here.
Yes, he has. He's come into camp as a, Rule 5 pickup and has worked extremely hard. He's featured, an array of pitches. Obviously, he comes from a little bit of a different angle for a right-hander, and has really impressed. I know Jim Hickey likes what he sees, and from the time that I've gotten to spend with him, he's a hard worker, eager to learn. Good young pitcher.
Yeah, he's in camp out of the White Sox organization, and because he's a Rule 5 player, if he doesn't make the staff, then they're going to have to put him on waivers and offer him back.
Another one of those tough decisions that Andrew and everybody's going to have to make because of the quality of the bullpen. That not only the guys that are returning, but with the addition of Isringhausen and Schaus and a lot of new faces out there, it's going to run into a number crunch.
It's a situation where if you do your job really well, the way Andrew Friedman has done that, and I'll tell you, this baseball office is outstanding. All up and down the line, they are outstanding. And the better he does his job, the more difficult he makes his job.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, they, you know, Andrew, and he kind of alluded to it with some of his comments, but, you know, they obviously don't have an open checkbook where they can just go out, write whatever they want, and bring in, you know, whoever they want. So they are forced to be creative. And, you know, and they're so good at it that they bring in a piece here and a piece there, and before you know it, you've got, you know, 30, 31 different pieces that you would like to use when you can only use 25. So you force yourself into some very difficult decisions, and you know, but it's a testament to the decision making, the research that's done, and the way that they piece together a team that's very versatile, very diverse, and can beat you in a lot of ways.
Pitch is high, and so there's a walk. Green draws the base on balls. So with 2 outs, 2 men aboard, and we go to the top side of the St. Louis order. It's the second baseman, Brendan Ryan. Craig Albernaz now catching for the Rays here in the 7th inning. Goes out to spend some time with Derek Rodriguez.
Bad boy is struggling right now.
Well, everybody else is sick, so maybe he's not feeling so great. A little soft liner that got in on him, and he manages to hit it over the shortstop's head and drive in a run. Barden scores. This comes with 2 outs, and the Cardinals have their 8th run of the afternoon.
I'll tell you what, it's been a struggle all day for Rays pitchers to close out innings.
Well, here's Colby Rasmus. See his numbers at Memphis AAA a year ago. He entered as a pinch runner in the 6th inning. Now hits for the first time in the game in the 7th. One ball, 1 strike. Rays have been out hit now 14-9.
Ginsburg, Tomato,
2-1. Five runs off Kazmir. Isringhausen gave up no runs in an inning. A couple runs charged to Schaus. And a run here to Rodriguez. 2-2. A little about Rodriguez. He's 25 years old and was in the White Sox system. Divided the year between AA and AAA with the White Sox a year ago. Almost exclusively out of the bullpen for them last year in their organization, and he gets a called 3rd strike past Rasmus to retire the side. Cardinals score a run. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 8-4 St. Louis. Rays will be coming in ahead in the bottom of the 7th, 8-4 ball game. St. Louis leading. Scott Kazmir started for the Rays. Had an extended first inning. He made 31 pitches in that inning. Gave up 3 runs. An error committed behind him. 2 of those runs were earned. He struck out 2 in his overall 4-inning stint. Made 69 pitches, 46 strikes, charged with 5 runs, 4 earned. And was touched for a couple of home runs. Ludwig got him in the 1st, and Rick Ankiel got him in the 2nd inning. So Scott, in his third outing of the spring, works 4 on the heels of his last outing when he worked 4 innings. Morgan Ensberg, who's hitting out of the second spot and playing third base, will bat for the first time in this game here in the bottom of the 7th. And he'll hit against Brad Thompson, who becomes pitcher number 4 for Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan. And a fastball in there to start him. Strike 1. Ensberg, base hit into left.
The second baseman, number 37, Ray Olmedo.
That brings up Ray Olmedo, who's now playing second base. These Grapefruit League games about this time turn into a Rubik's Cube of scoring. Strike on the outside edge. Rays have 10 hits now with that base hit from Ensberg. But they've been charged with 3 errors on the afternoon, and as Joe Madden mentioned in his conversation with Todd Callis, this has been one of the more sloppy games they have played this spring. Almeida reaches on a fielder's choice. Ensberg forced at second for the out.
Pitch hitting for the Rays,
so 1 on, 1 out.
Hernandez.
To make sure your business takes advantage of Rays season ticket opportunities. They'll help build sales, and they're great to use with clients and co-workers. Your company can save up to 35% and receive exclusive benefits by calling 888-FAN-RAYS. That's 888-FAN-RAYS. Shell Hernandez will pinch hit for Pat Burrell, who's been the DH today. And Pat had a couple of hits, including his second home run of the spring, a 2-run homer in the 5th inning. So it's 8-14-1 for St. Louis and 4-10-3 for the Rays. Shortstop. Green to Ryan 1 and over to first for the 6-4-3 double play. And that ends the 7th. We go to the 8th from Charlotte County. 8-4 St. Louis. Rays baseball on Sun Sports, brought to you by Tobacco Free Florida. Tobacco Free Florida wants you to be tobacco free. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com for more information. Shane Robinson leading off here in the 8th inning, hits one back into the gap in left center field. He is aggressively turning second and decides to hang on there. Well, he jumped on the first pitch he saw from Derek Rodriguez here in the 8th and hit the ball back into the alley.
Comes right in here, Derek. First pitch, fastball, drops the head. Left field, John Weber going back. You think he's got it just off the top of his glove. Not able to pull it in.
Joe Thurston will pinch hit for the DH, Freese. Strike 1. So the Cardinals have unleashed a 15-hit attack. One and one to count. That ball just fouled outside the bag and up the right field line. 1-2. The Rays won 97 games in the regular season last year en route to the World Series. The Cardinals were 10 over 500 in the National League Central, 86 and 76. They finished 4th there. And they expect to contend in the Central this year. 2-2.
You know the Cubs are going to be strong. And then after that, I think it's, you know, it's a coin flip. Cincinnati should be a much improved ball club. Dusty Baker's building a nice little team over there that plays the game hard. Nice pitch there by Derek, getting the strikeout of Thurston.
It's his 3rd strikeout for Derek Rodriguez.
Number 83, Matt Pagnozzi.
And there, boy, you get the good run with the fastball there. Derek Rodriguez with that quasi-submarine motion. Gets a lot of run on the fastball. That one just kept tracking off the plate, and Thurston couldn't catch it.
A ball, no strikes. The count to Matt Pagnozzi. He entered the game in the 6th inning. That one to the far reaches of the berm. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball and 2 strikes. Second inning of work here for Derek Rodriguez. Rays started camp with 63 players, and at the moment they have 43 in camp. 2-2. That would include Akinori Iwamura, who's playing for Japan, and J.P. Howell, who's playing for the USA team in the World Baseball Classic. And with all the injuries to the USA team, we touched on it earlier, the Evan Longoria situation. There were a few inquiries as to whether Evan would be added to that team, and nobody seems to know. No one has heard anything nor received any communication from the Rays end of it. Pagnozzi's out on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts from Rodriguez.
The left fielder, number 88, John Jay.
Here, Rodriguez, look at that changeup. That's a nice changeup right there. Been working him in and out. He drops the changeup, is able to get it under the bat. 4th strikeout.
John Jay loops one over the head of Brignac. Weber bobbles it out there. The run's going to score anyway, and up to second base, an attempt by Jay, and he is out, trying to get to the bag at second to retire the side, with Almeida putting the tag on him. But a base hit scores a run. We're headed into the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-4 St. Louis.
Welcome back to Charlotte Sports Park as the Rays come to bat in a 9-4 game here, bottom half of the 8th inning. We're out here beyond the left field wall, guys. This is part of the boardwalk area. The boardwalk goes from field all the way around center field. We already showed you the tiki bar, and then all the way through right field. And I'm one of the few people out here drinking water, by the way. People out here enjoying a little baseball in the sun. Here are some of the areas they've improved since they refurbished this place. Charlotte Sports Park and the Rays put in a lot of time, effort, and money into really making this place first class here for spring. The berm areas in left field and right field. Right field's a little bit deeper of a berm area. Left field's a little deeper berm area. Right field, you've got a little area as well to sit on the grass and watch a little baseball. The dugouts as well used to be just the single level dugouts, and they were very tight. Now they're expanded out, so they're 2 different levels. You have 2 rows worth of benches. Guys can sit back, watch the game from either level. They're huge dugouts. The whole atmosphere here, it's been one of those years as Rasmus has the ball go off the top of his glove, and John Weber will cruise into second base, and he will hold up there with what will probably be a leadoff double here for the Rays in the bottom half of the 8th inning. You also have a kids playground area, the kids clubhouse on the berm area. But you guys are up in the press box. All that has been refurbished in the last 2 years. We were here 2 years ago when this place was really in a bit of disrepair. Of course, the Rangers hadn't played here in 8 years. They have done just a remarkable job getting it up to speed, and it's one of the finest facilities you'll see in Florida, guys.
Well, you're right about that. It is a great facility now, and it's friendly to fans. A great spot for spring training here. Ben Zobrist takes the pitch in there for a strike. Weber did get credit for a double, although Rasmus did have trouble playing that ball in center field. Oh, the count to Ben Zobrist.
You know, it's also a bit more beneficial to the staff and the players, you know, having all the fields here. If you need, you know, some minor league guys to run in some drills, you can just go grab them instead of having to go all the way across town. And the same thing with, you know, with working with the pitchers. You know, once the games would start and you would move over to Progress Energy Field, you know, all you had was a little half field to get any kind of work done that was on site. So you were very limited in what you could do. Here with all of the, you know, well, you got 5 practice fields and a half, just an infield. There's plenty of room for guys, no matter what kind of work they need to be done, they can do it right here on site.
82 acres in this complex. The pitch is down. It's 2-2. Of course, the main ballpark here, and then 5.5 fields. And there's the overview of Charlotte Sports Park here. And the clubhouse and offices there in the middle of all that. Long foul ball. Zobrist has been on base 3 times. There's a double, a single, and hit by a pitch.
He started barking at me, I started barking back.
Dave Duncan out there.
Apparently it's game 7 of something. 2-2 count.
Yeah, that's pretty serious here. Yeah, you always wonder what's going on then. I mean, is it grabbing that teaching moment?
I mean, I think that's jumping the gun a little bit if you're looking to teach right there.
Still 2-2 to Ben. Weber's at second with a double. How about John Weber? He's had another very good spring, swinging the bat well.
Veteran, hard-nosed player, knows the game, good student of the game.
So the count's still 2-2. And a base hit. Zobrist on again. Weber on his way to the plate. And Ben Zobrist drives in his second run of the day. Well, that makes it 9-5. It's not over yet.
Whatever Dave Duncan had to say did not work out. Got another pitch right out over the plate. And Ben Zobrist, as he does so well, especially from the left side. So short, quick downswing and rifles the ball into right field.
Now Ray Sadler in the batter's box. One ball, no strikes. One and one the count. A ball, 2 strikes. Run home, a man at first. Zobrist back in at first. Tap back to the hill. Into center field goes the throw. Zobrist heads to third. Sadler is aboard. Well, the Rays down by 4 have an opportunity here in the 8th. Things have not worked out since the trek to the mound by the veteran pitching coach Dave Duncan. And now Stephen Vogt will hit. Speaking of grabbing a player from the nearby minor league camp, fly ball into left. Mathers there. And they throw back to second as a tag by Zobrist, and he scores the second run of the inning to make it 9-6.
How about that? He was rewarded, wins the Rays Idol competition with the impersonations, wins the pot, gets an at-bat and an RBI in a big league game.
There you go.
Nice week for him.
Here's Reed Brignac. Pitch is inside, a ball and no strikes. So Weber, who opened with a double, has scored. Zobrist, who singled him home, has now scored. Sadler at first. He reached on what amounts to a fielder's choice and an error. A 2-ball, no strike count to Brignac. 3-0. Maybe the trip was premature.
Messed with his rhythm.
Brignac heads to first. That'll push Sadler up to second base. Magnozzi goes to the mound. He'll have a little conversation himself
Really starting to labor out there. Those pitches weren't very competitive at all.
And Elliott Johnson will be the hitter. Elliott pinch hit in the 6th and struck out. Now he's up there representing the tying run. And under it, pops it into short right. Out from second base goes Ryan, and he makes the catch for the out. Two gone, and Morgan Ensberg will bat.
The third baseman, number 11, Morgan Ensberg.
There's a strike to Ensberg.
Not looking for the curveball.
One and one. Two balls and a strike. Out of play. Straight back. 2-2. Ensberg lines a base hit into left. That will score Sadler. The Rays make it a 3-run inning and a 2-run game. Ensberg with a run batted in.
The second baseman, number 37.
So it becomes interesting now.
It does. Morgan Ensberg with his second hit there is able to stay back just enough on a breaking ball, get it over the shortstop's head, driving another run and tighten this game up a little bit more.
Pagnozzi makes another trip to the mound in this 9-7 game.
Been getting a lot of advice this inning. And I think it just ended.
And here comes Tony La Russa. So he's going to make a pitching change. The Rays have scored 3 times in the inning. They have 2 men on with 2 men out. And the Cardinals change pitchers. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, it's not exactly a Rubik's Cube, but it's pretty close if you're trying to make heads or tails of that lineup sheet from Joe Madden. Don't forget, you can be a hero with your family by picking up Rays season tickets. Spend quality time with your kids and create lifetime memories and save up to 35%. Get great benefits and the best seats at Tropicana Field. Call 888-FAN-RAYS. Jason Mott will be the new pitcher. Ray Olmedo at the plate, and the pitch is fouled away. That's a strike. Mott, a converted catcher. In fact, 1 year as a catcher, led the Florida State League in pass balls, had a great arm. And so he's in the running in their battle for closing duties.
Here, I thought you were going to come out with, you know, led the league in home runs or RBIs, and now look how versatile he is. But pass balls, you understand the
There's a reason he's
change
on the
of
mound.
position. Right.
He has a great arm. And could very well have a future as the Cardinal closer. A 9-7 ball game now with this 3-run 8th by the Rays. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. A ball, 2 strikes. Two. And he blows it by Olmedo to end the inning. So the right-hander gets the strikeout. The Rays leave 2. They score 3. We go to the 9th. 9-7 St. Louis.
Ninth inning baseball. Rays leading 9-7. We're back on Sun Sports Sunday afternoon with James Shields taking the mound for the Rays. He'll be opposed by the New York Yankees. We'll have that game for you from Port Charlotte. Charlotte Sports Park, the site for Rays baseball this year. That'll be our second telecast. And guys, we started the broadcast here at the Tiki Bar behind me and also right here at the Steak Sandwich Stop. And Dave's going to join us. Here's a little mushroom steak, by the way, guys. They ran out of buns today. They sold how many? How many? Almost 300. Almost 300 steak sandwiches today. You've got the onions, you've got the peppers, the cheese steaks were rolling. And you're going to try and do what on Sunday?
450 at least with the Yankees.
450 is the goal.
Yes, that's the goal. The Boston Red Sox game on Saturday was a 340 game.
So
and
we got
7,500 people. I think they can hold that many. They probably had that many today, most likely. It was a great day, wasn't it? I mean,
lines were all the way past the Tiki Bar, guys. They're going to try and set the mark on Sunday
against the Yankees.
Against the Yankees,
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a big crowd.
Go Rays.
And unfortunately, this is the last one, guys. If I can get it to you in time, I'll let you share some of it because it's really good stuff. But if in case I can't get it to you in time, I'll take care of it for you.
Back Sunday.
Back to you.
Back Sunday for the Yankees.
All right. Well,
Thanks, guys.
we have a lot of trust and faith in his integrity to get that back to us.
I'm not holding my breath.
Gino Gonzalez is the new pitcher for the Rays. Left-hander out of Nevada, and he strikes out Joe Mather. Derek Rodriguez worked 2 innings for the Rays and gave up a couple runs. Here's Brian Barden. Gonzalez was a 46th round pick by the Rays in the 02 draft. So you have to root for him immediately, and he hits Barden.
The shortstop, number 67.
So a runner at first. Well, the Cardinals have had runners on base in every inning, and so have the Rays. It's been one of those afternoons.
Well, we're on our second pitcher on the mound for the Rays that is left-handed and wears number 19.
Green fouls one away, strike one. There you go. He was at Montgomery last year at the AA level. Made 11 starts and 26 appearances out of the bullpen. Little tap. Gonzalez takes it to first, out there. Into second goes Barden. 2 gone with a man at second.
Shown very good changeup. First couple of hitters here.
Number 13, Brandon Ryan.
He's way up over the top. It's had good arm action on it. It's a good pitch.
He's 26 years old. In a left-hander's years, that's very young. Ryan will be the hitter. Stephen Vaught, who's doing the catching now after driving it around with a sacrifice fly in the 8th. Vaught to the mound to chat briefly with Gonzalez.
The runner on second probably have no idea what signs they're going to use.
That foul ball, sharply hit, and strike one. It's popped up, foul ball. Vogt might have a play all the way to the screen, and he's there hanging on to make the catch and retire the side. No runs with a man left. We're headed into the bottom of the 9th, and the Rays need 3 to win it, down 9-7. Well, the Rays made that point last year. We are one team. Enjoying their first spring here in Charlotte County. Then they come into hit in the bottom half of the 9th. Here's Michelle Hernandez lining one into center, and it's caught by Rasmus out there. So Hernandez goes after the first pitch and lines out, facing Jason Mott, who got the final out in the 8th.
She'll take your picture.
Rays have been out hit 16-13 and trail 9-7. So to this point, we've had 16 runs, 29 hits, 5 errors, and 18 men left on base in this game.
We are leading in errors, though. Through the
Yes.
two.
There you go. Now John Weber. Pitch is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Two and 0 the count. Three and nothing. Mott does have 1 save in the big leagues when he came up with the Cardinals. Got into 12 games last year and saved a game in the middle of September against the Reds in Cincinnati. He walks Weber. Now the Rays have a base runner. So the Cardinals and the Rays have had men on base in every inning today. And Ben Zobrist, who's been on base all 4 times, is the hitter. That's a strike. Ben with a couple of runs batted in. Pat Burrell had 2 RBIs with the 2-run home run. 0-2. Morgan Innsberg drove in a run. Chris Richard with a run batted in. Stephen Vogt with a run batted in. Just a bit wide. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 on with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Pinheiro started. He worked 4 Franklin, Norick, Thompson, and now Mott. The Rays had Casimir start and work 4, Isringhausen 1, Schaus an inning, Rodriguez 2, Gonzalez 1. Zobrist hits it deep down toward the left field corner and out of play. Slicing back up on the berm. Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, you can see why they like his arm. He can get it up there in a hurry. And gets Zobrist looking. Two outs here in the bottom of the ninth. And Ray Sadler will face the right-hander. There's a strike. Sadler pinch hit back in the 6th and walked. Reached in the 8th inning. Scored a run. There's a wave and a miss, and that had a little something extra on it. 0-2. The 0-2, and he pops it up straight back. That will carry out a play.
I think that made its way into the
ball took a big hop.
Yeah, it did.
Ground ball back to the hill. Sharply hit, but Mott makes the play, and that ends the ball game for the Rays in the 9th inning. A walk and a man left. They will have stranded 9, the Cardinals 10, and the Cardinals win this game 9-7. Rays 10-8 on the spring, and the Cardinals 13-6. As they say, everybody got their work in today. A 9-7 St. Louis win over the Rays, and we'll be back with a final word in a moment. Back at the Charlotte Sports Park in Charlotte County, Florida. The Rays and the St. Louis Cardinals have completed this Grapefruit League game, and St. Louis takes a 9-7 victory here over the Rays. Scott Casimir worked the front 4 for the Rays, and Joel Pinheiro worked the front 4 for the St. Louis Cardinals. And with more on today's performance, let's go to Todd Callis. Todd?
Dwayne, thank you very much. With Ben Zobrist, Ben had 3 of those hits for the Rays, and another day where you show your versatility, center field and then first base. When you come into the dugout getting ready for a game, how many gloves are you bringing with you?
Right now I'm only bringing 2, an infield and an outfield one. But
so whose first base glove did you use?
I borrowed somebody else's. I had no idea I was going to first base, so you know, when they told me, I just had to borrow one.
So what's the spring been like for you? You played every position other than pitcher and catcher, and you're showing obviously that you can play everywhere.
It's been great. You know, I love the opportunity to see the game from all the different angles. You know, it's been good for me to get to practice out there and see balls from every different angle, and hopefully you know, that'll pay dividends during the season for the team.
You'll never pitch or catch, right?
Hey, I will if they ask me to. Whatever I can do.
You had a baby over the winter. What's it like now? And a family of 3. Is life as good as it gets right now?
It's great. It's a lot of fun going home and seeing the little guy and Juliana. So we're having a lot of fun with him, and lot of responsibility, but it's a lot of fun.
We noticed he got a little bigger last year. Did he get even bigger in the 08 to 09 off season, or are you about the same size you were going into last season?
I'm probably about the same size. Yeah, you know, I was just trying to get stronger this year, you know, in the off season, and we had a short one, so it was kind of hard to get in the weight room a lot, you know, with the baby on the way and him getting here too. But I feel good, feel ready to go, and hopefully we'll start off strong here.
You got the dirty jersey from that head first slide in the third. Were you safe on that play?
Yeah, I'm always safe.
All right, Ben, thanks. Okay, Ben's over 3 hits tonight, guys. Rays come up short, but a lot of guys got some work in, including Ben playing some positions he wasn't expecting to this afternoon. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. And as they say, Brian, truly, they got their work in. It was not the sharpest game the Rays have played all year, and that was something Joe Madden pointed out early. But I think it's important that they get their work. And I just wanted to get your touch on Scott Kazmir's outing. 4 innings. He did have an extended first inning, a lot of pitches.
Yeah, you know, an eerie reminder from last year. But, you know, Kaz a little bit under the weather. He was, you know, battling that. It's been a bug that's been, you know, racing through camp. A lot of guys coming down with it. So, you know, it's a little bit extra taxing when you're trying to build up your stamina as a pitcher and you're fighting, you know, you're under the weather. So it was difficult. But he was able to bounce back, and he got some double play balls today that I think that he can, you know, go back and look at some of the good things that he did this outing, and was able to get 4 innings and get his pitch count up. So next time you take that next step, maybe 15 more pitches, and then he should be, you know, game ready. And you know, he's done enough good things throughout this camp that you can say, hey, you know what, you've got a blueprint there. You just need to keep following it.
And perhaps the most important thing is that we launched this ship with our first telecast here. And Brian, it has been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to many more afternoons and evenings together with you on the air in the coming season.
Well, we will certainly have them. Thanks a lot.
For Brian Anderson and Todd Callis, Dewayne Staats, great to have you with us. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. 9-7, the Cardinals over the Rays. This has been a special presentation of Sun Sports. Join us Sunday for the Rays season preview, followed by more live spring training action against the Yankees. It begins Sunday at 12:30 right here on Sun Sports.